Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at how you can complete the, well, I think it's stage 7 now, but the versus extreme strength SBR stage with a completely free to play team. Now we have a pretty interesting combination of units. The friend unit is a Teen LR AGL Gohan. So this unit, obviously he starts out with attack and defense. He gains 10% attack and defense per turn. He also gains ki as well. He leads Kamehameha category, and he also is a 120% AGL type lead. So he's pretty good, and he's going to be kind of the backbone of our team. We're going to pair him up with the GT duo, so the Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. LR, because they are a pretty good combination with him. They don't share like a massive amount of links. They pretty much only share Super Saiyan, and they share one key link. But that's okay. That's pretty much all we need between the two of them. They'll do damage anyway, so it's really not that big an issue. So it'll all be pretty fine. That's going to be our one pairing. Then we've got Goku and Arale. So LR, Goku, and Arale. They obviously gain strength based on how many rainbow orbs they have. It increases their attack. They also reduce damage received by 30% in the first slot if they are the first attackers. So they can tank somewhat okay in certain situations, but realistically, they're not going to be a tanky unit. We're going to just leave them floating. They seal on their 12 key, but they're going to be there for some decent damage. Then we've got Pinnage, who's pretty strong. He's actually one of our big damage dealers. Pinnage, pretty strong damage dealer. He's going to do some big damage. Going to be able to just give us a good steady stream of damage, like ability to, you know, kind of just control everything and really just keep everything under wraps and keep everything well controlled. Deal out some good damage, which is what he's there for, and he's going to be paired up with the Great Saiyaman Junior, well, the Junior Great Saiyaman. So obviously the Trunks, the like little Great Saiyaman Trunks from the Halloween event. He's also the lead we're using. So lead is kind of the biggest issue that we had in terms of our team. So our biggest issue was leader. We're using the Great Saiyaman Trunks as lead, but he's only like a 50% AGL type lead, but he does lead the youth category by 77%, which is where a lot of our units lie. Goku and Arale are on youth, Trunks is obviously on youth, Pinnage is on youth, the AGL friend Goten's on youth, the GT duo are on youth as well. So that's kind of why we've gone with this team. The only unit not on the youth category is Whis. Now AGL Whis, he brings a decent level to like our team. So he is decent defensively. He also brings with him a full heal if we fall below a certain threshold. So that's pretty decent. He then also has the ability to stun and fire off multiple super attacks that can stun. So he's bringing some utility to the team, which we actually sorely need. Like, we really do need quite a bit of utility just to the team in general, because we don't actually have, like, obviously because of the low stats, because we're using a 77% type lead for the most part, and one of our units is under a 50% type lead, we actually don't have a lot of stats, and so we kind of do struggle, like, just in general with everything. So like, we need to make sure that our team does have that little bit of utility, does have that heal if we need it, and then we should be able to control everything quite well. This Trunks, for example, you know, he doesn't start off the strongest, but he does end up getting better. He does end up getting a lot stronger overall, and he can build up quite quickly, but those first couple turns are a bit of a problem. Like, they can cause us some issues. So for me, you know, I would say, like, it is pretty much just something that you do just need to be aware of. Like, you can struggle a little bit for defense, you can struggle a little bit for damage, you know, like utility. So just get your pairings up, your GT duo with your Gohan. That's going to be like your big damage dealing pair. Like you can see here, they're going to be our big damage dealing pair, which is obviously very important. And then you're going to want to get your pinnage. Pinnage is very important because pinnage can dish a lot of damage. So pinnage is very important, and I think like his damage is actually crucial to how this team runs, because he actually is the great secondary follow-up damage that you'll use to kill a lot of units. Also with the GT duo, try to get as many like orbs as possible. You want those multiple super attacks. We really need those for clearing out the opposition, especially in stages like this where you are facing multiple units at once. You're facing like 5 of them, so yeah, I would definitely say that you kind of have to do this. Once everything's set up, it's really not too bad. I think the main thing with the AGL team is just this kind of disorganization of the team. That's why I like to run this youth kind of flavored team. I feel like it's somewhat the most decent linking, functioning team overall. I mean, if you look at it on paper, they link somewhat decently. They share the necessary key links. The team itself runs quite fluidly. So for the most part, it's probably the best team that I think you can run as a free-to-play team. And so for that reason, I kind of really think that that's the best route you can go free-to-play. There are some other units. Obviously, the LR Belma and Kid Goku are a great AGL free-to-play unit, but there's an issue with that in the fact that obviously you can only get them by completing SBR. So it's very difficult to say this is a free-to-play team for running a SBR stage. You can do it after you beat the SBR stage. It just seems kind of counterintuitive. Like, it just seems like it's not like really the best way to tackle the stage. Like, hey, use this unit, but to get him you need to have beaten the stage. It's like saying beat the Gods of Destruction event for the support memory to beat this God of Destruction event stage. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, there's that. Obviously that is a factor, but there are still some other AGL options, but I think like for the most part this team is very well done. I think this is probably the best it can get right now. I think in terms of like the weakest unit, I would say this AGL Kid Trunks that's just kind of floating around, the Satchel Kid Trunks I call him. He's probably the weakest one, the Super Saiyan Trunks kid. He just doesn't like necessarily look great. He's not super good defensively. He does stack defense, so he's okay for long events, but he doesn't do super well defensively. He doesn't do huge damage or anything. So like for me, I just think he's maybe not necessarily the prime unit. He's not the kind of guy that makes me want to go like, you should keep this guy in your team. I would drop him. He'd be the first unit I'd drop if you are looking at making this team or recreating this team. Probably the first like unit that you should maybe like link out or get rid of is probably that Trunks. But then everything beyond that is pretty good. I think for the rest of the team works fine. A lot of them are super easy to get as well. Goku and Arale is super easy to get. The GT Duo is super easy to get. They drop from the event. Pinnage is super easy to get. He drops from the event. Whis super easy to get. So for the most part, everything's super like chilled, super straightforward to get. There's nothing really too crazy. And yeah, we managed to essentially get everything done, which is great. We're now also able to walk into the final stage, and we do actually have our Dokkan attack, which is also pretty good. So we're going to be able to get our Dokkan attack, which is great. Obviously, just looking at the units, we are going to activate an item here just to be safe, because Pinnage can take quite a bit of damage before he fires his attack. His defense does go up quite a bit on his super. So beyond that, I mean, we're fine. Like, we're going to get the Dokkan attack here. Pinnage actually is a decent damage dealer, so that is going to help us out as well. 2 million in a nice kind of attack here, which is nice. And then we're going to we should I should say, we should get the Dokkan attack next turn, which will set us up nicely. We'll do some good damage, and then yeah, we'll be pretty good to go. So for me, quite happy with how this team did. I think things definitely could have gone better. I think the teams definitely could have gone smoother. Like I said, we can replace this Trunks here. We could definitely replace, but I think for the most part, like, everything went quite smooth. You can see that I'm kind of like wondering how to set things up here for the Dokkan. Ideally, I would have liked to have gotten 5 orbs with the GT duo, which is kind of like an important thing just to get their follow-up attacks. But right now, yeah, it'll function more than fine. Everything here will go okay. We'll get the big Dokkan attack. They'll do quite a good chunk of damage, and then we should be fine. We should be good to go. We'll hopefully knock out Babidi, and we should be able to take out Boo as well, or at least do huge damage to him, and then it's just simply wrapping everything up. So yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty chilled, and yeah, relatively smooth run, honestly, considering the units and the team lead we had to use and everything like that. I think for the most part it was a pretty smooth, pretty clean run, and I think everything went quite well. I think it all went well together. I think everything went smoothly, and yeah, overall I had a decent time with this run. I think the team could definitely get better. Whis can be replaced, Super Saiyan Trunks can be replaced, but I think beyond that, I think everything else was fine. I really think the whole team went like well, and I think everything went fine. Like, I think it all went great and like easy, and yeah, no real big alarms or anything, no real like ticking time bombs. So yeah, smooth run. So if you're wondering how to complete this stage free to play, here you go. This is how you do it, and yeah, obviously enjoy. So if you do have any queries, you can let me know. You can leave a like on the video, or you can obviously leave a comment, and I will try and reply back. Just let you guys know my thoughts, or if you've got any questions on team builds, or maybe you haven't wanted to try it yet, you're welcome to. But yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.